Good morning. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Shout out to Connor in my third period. He made this little cover for me. You can see it has math and it says M-A-T-H and some numbers, so I thought that was cool. So we're gonna get started today, and what today we are talking about is complementary, supplementary, and vertical angles and finding the unknown angle measure. So, like I said, you can always pause the video at any time, write down the notes, get out your pencil, get out your paper. So we're gonna get started. All right, so we're gonna start off with some definitions. I know it seems like a lot, but here are some definitions. A complementary angle is when two angles add up to 90. So the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B equals 90. So two angles are going to add up to 90. A supplementary angle is when two angles add up to 180. So the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B equals 180. And then vertical angles are just angles that are opposite each other. So when two lines intersect, they are congruent, which means that they are the same. So you'll see examples of all three of these. What I like to think about complementary and supplementary, I kind of look at the first letter. So complementary in the alphabet comes first, right? So I know that it's going to be a little bit less. So that's where I kind of remember that it's 90 degrees. They add up to 90 degrees. Supplementary starts with an S, and that's later in the alphabet, so it's larger, and that's kind of where I get 180 degrees. Now, if that made no sense to you, and you're like, what the heck are you talking about? Just try to remember complementary is 90, and supplementary is 180. I need to plug in my iPad. All right, and also just to remind you that the angle, this symbol means angle. This symbol right here over when you have a measurement is degrees. And then this M with angle symbol means measure of angle. Okay, all right, so we're going to get into a few examples right here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. All right, so to remind you that 90 degrees is a right angle, and the right angle is depicted by this symbol right here. Whenever it has a little square, then you know that it is 90 degrees. So we know that this angle right here is 90 degrees. Also, we know a straight line is 180 degrees. So those are the two things you want to keep in mind. All right, so complementary angles. If I'm gonna, so my first example, if I draw a line down here, okay, and I know that this angle right here is 20 degrees, and I need to find this right here, how would I do it? Well, I can set up a one-step equation. So 20 degrees plus x equals what? What does it equal? Well, we know that this angle right here equals 90 degrees. And when I add these two angles up, they equal 90 degrees. Oops, sorry, 90 degrees. Now I draw a line down the equal sign, look for the side with the variable, look for the what is not attached to the variable, and do the opposite operation. So we subtract 20 degrees. Whatever we do on one side, we also do to the other. And x equals 90 minus 20 is 70. So I know my x equals 70. Well, we could do it an easier way and also know that, okay, so in my head I know that this angle is 90. This angle I don't know, but I know this is 90 degrees, so I could just take 90 minus 20. Yeah, exactly. You can do that as well. That works for that. Now let's move on to supplementary angles. So we know that I'm going to give you this angle right here as 110. And we know that this whole angle right here equals how much? 180. So this right here would equal what? All right, so let's write it out. 110 plus x equals 180. I draw a line down the equal sign. I take what is not attached to the variable and perform the opposite operation. So I subtract 110, subtract 110, x equals 70. So this is not to scale, just putting that out there. That angle is probably not going to look like a 70-degree angle, but regardless. Also, you can know that 110 plus 70 equals 180 and kind of solve from there. So you don't have to write it out, but you can write it out. And then lastly, vertical angles. So if I give you an angle that is 30 degrees, across from that angle is also going to be what? We don't need to put a formula or we don't need to do anything else. It's just 30 degrees. And you can also indicate it with one little hash mark. You'll see little hash marks, and that means that they're the same and they are congruent. So when they are opposite each other, they are congruent and they are exactly the same. So just try to remember at 90 degrees, you'll see it's a right angle, and that's 90 degrees. A straight line is 180. And remember your one-step operations, or how to solve one-step equations. So I'll put a link to one-step equations below, and then you can, if you need to look up any more, ask me any more questions, let me know. If not, enjoy the quizzes, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye!